groups that were consulted included women, children and youth, Indigenous peoples, NGOs, local authorities, workers and trade unions, business and industry, scientific and technological community, and farmers. I am pleased to share some good news for people and planet, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said to a packed room of press delegates. The good news? After 3 years of negotiations and debate, 193 countries had agreed to a set of development goals more bold and ambitious than anything that has come before them, the SDGs. The due date for the SDGs is the year 2030, which makes the 2020s the decade to deliver. But how can we know if progress on any of these monumental issues has been made? The 17 SDGs are built on an evidence-based framework of 169 quantitative targets and 232 indicators that accompany them. This ensures that the SDGs are clear, concise, time-bound, and measurable, which helps governments and decision-makers to include the SDGs in their planning. This means that we can keep track on each of the SDGs' progress. To achieve the SDGs, all countries are expected to set up policies and investment plans, and to use the targets and indicators to track their progress. They then report their progress to the UN. This is done through voluntary national reviews, VNRs, with a selection of countries reporting each year. Most countries, including Australia, have already submitted their first VNR. Governments are crucial in achieving the SDGs because they create and finance policies that support the goals. But all stakeholders have an important role to play in goods and services that align with the SDGs, and communities and individuals in supporting SDG initiatives and in holding governments and the private sector to account. Education, research, and innovation are all essential to achieve the SDGs, so universities, with their ability to create and disseminate knowledge and solutions, play an absolutely vital role. You can probably already tell that reaching the SDGs will be no small feat. All responses, from the global to the national to the local, even down to the individual, need to be coherent and aligned. But progress to date has been slow, so that it becomes very clear now that a much deeper, faster, and more ambitious response is needed from governments, businesses, and communities. Many experts say that in order to achieve the SDGs, we need societal transformations now that are unprecedented in human history, and which represent a profound departure from business as usual. You may feel like the challenges are too big and too many. After all, you're just one person. But think about it this way. Every time you spend money, you have an opportunity to spend your money better. Every time you talk to someone, you have an opportunity to challenge their ideas for the better. You can seize these opportunities every day, 365 days a year. And of course, every couple of years, you have the opportunity to vote for the better. Not just in national elections, but in local ones too. That is an immense potential that lies with you and every other individual. The SDGs give us a roadmap for making the right choices and arriving at the right answers. Don't forget, together, we are 7.8 billion people. Together, we can make big changes happen. It happens to everyone. Waiting in line for your morning coffee, you scroll social media and news on your phone. What you find depresses you. Thousands of migrants are fleeing a civil war, risking their lives only to be turned back at borders. Speculations have sent the housing markets into a frenzy, and employment numbers are tumbling down. Journalists have uncovered a decades-long cover-up of child abuse by coaches and doctors within competitive gymnastics in your country. Closing the news app, you open your family group chat. Maybe one of your siblings has posted something funny, and at this rate, you could use some cheering up. The group chat has blown up overnight, and what you see makes your heart sink. Bushfires are raging again, and there's one burning only 2 suburbs over from where your cousins live. Everyone is frantic with worry. At this point, you walk away, coffee in hand, tense, miserable, and confused. You think, this can't go on. Something needs to be done. Someone needs to step up. We need a plan to fix all this social injustice, economic chaos, and environmental destruction. This is where the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, come in. Fixing the kinds of problems that bring your entire day down in the morning coffee line can't happen in just one way. The SDGs cover sustainability from different angles: socially, economically, and environmentally. They set global goals for the 3 Ps: people, planet, and prosperity. The SDGs form the heart of the 2030 Agenda, an action plan adopted by all 193 countries of the United Nations. They call for decent jobs, quality education, good health, gender and income equality, clean energy and water, biodiversity, and climate action. They aim to reach sustainable development by 2030. Governments play a key role in achieving these goals, but they're not the only players. Businesses, civil society, Indigenous leaders, academia, and the general public all contribute as well. You might wonder where they came from. The SDGs were born in 2012 at the Rio+20, a UN conference on sustainable development in Rio de Janeiro, which was the largest conference ever held by the UN. Until 2012, there were different international agreements that dealt with environmental challenges such as climate change and biodiversity loss. And there were the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, that aimed to achieve certain social targets in developing countries by the year 2015. The countries meeting at Rio+20 decided that a more comprehensive set of universal goals was needed to tackle the urgent social, economic, and environmental challenges facing the world. This kicked off the broadest consultation ever run by the UN. An unprecedented effort was made to get input from as many people as possible, particularly those who don't often get a say in international agreements. Over 10 million people around the world participated in the consultations and helped shape the SDGs. Apart from national governments, major stakeholder groups that were consulted included women, children and youth, Indigenous peoples, NGOs, local authorities, workers and trade unions, business and industry, scientific and technological community, and farmers. I am pleased to share some good news for people and planet, UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said to a packed room of press delegates. The good news? After 3 years of negotiations and debate, 193 countries had agreed to a set of development goals more bold and ambitious than anything that has come before them: the SDGs. The due date for the SDGs is the year 2030, which makes the 2020s the decade to deliver. But how can we know if progress on any of these monumental issues has been made? The 17 SDGs are built on an evidence-based framework of 169 quantitative targets and 232 indicators that accompany them. This ensures that the SDGs are clear, concise, time-bound, and measurable, which helps governments and decision-makers to include the SDGs in their planning. This means that we can keep track on each of the SDGs' progress. To achieve the SDGs, all countries are expected to set up policies and investment plans, and to use the targets and indicators to track their progress. They then report their progress to the UN. This is done through voluntary national reviews, VNRs, with a selection of countries reporting each year. Most countries, including Australia, have already submitted their first VNR. Governments are crucial in achieving the SDGs because they create and finance policies that support the goals. But all stakeholders have an important role to play. Industries and businesses in finding solutions for goods and services that align with the SDGs, and communities and individuals in supporting SDG initiatives and in holding governments and the private sector to account. Education, research, and innovation are all essential to achieve the SDGs, so universities, with their ability to create and disseminate knowledge and solutions, play an absolutely vital role. You can probably already tell that reaching the SDGs will be no small feat. All responses, from the global to the national to the local, even down to the individual, need to be coherent and aligned. But progress to date has been slow, so that it becomes very clear now that a much deeper, faster, and more ambitious response is needed from governments, businesses, and communities. Many experts say that in order to achieve the SDGs, we need societal transformations now that are unprecedented in human history, and which represent a profound departure from business as usual. You may feel like the challenges are...
Okay, an amazing morning to you all, to each and everyone joining us from every part of Nigeria. Good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone. I can see a lot of people on this call this morning. It's so good to have you as part of the fourth cohort of the SDG Advocate Programme under the SDSN Nigeria, and we're glad to welcome you all to this wonderful session. I believe that we are joining from different states. We are not all joining from the same states. It's very key that one of the very major role of each of the program we hold is you rename your display name appropriately. So please ensure that your display name starts with your state name. So take, for example, your name is Jeremiah Ojo and you are from Lagos. To start with Lagos, Jeremiah Ojo, Abuja, or FCT, Jeremiah Ojo. Or you can say, I can see Janet Christopher as well. You can let your name start with your state. It's very key and also part of which you need to take track of those who are joining on the call. This morning, we are glad to have each and everyone joining us this morning. And I want to welcome each. I want to congratulate you all on behalf of the leadership of SDSN. And right about now, we are going straight to the session which you have all been looking forward to, and we can assure you that this is going to be a engagement all through. This morning, we are blessed to have country director in our midst in person of Professor Labode Popola. He is a father, he is a mentor, and he has been a great blessing to us all through the course of the year, ever since the inception of this program. And we are so glad to have him as he's going to be handling the opening ceremony before we move on to the masterclass session. Good morning, Prof. Thank you for joining, and thank you for joining very early, sir.
Very good morning, Emmanuel, and very good morning, everybody on this call. I'm so excited, very, very excited this morning. As at the last count, we have over 330 participants on this call. It's just amazing. It shows the interest that people have in what we're doing. It shows the interest that people have in the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. And I want to implore us to continue in this line. The SDSN Nigeria is a node of the global SDSN. SDSN is Sustainable Development Solutions Network, and it's a network that was launched by the former Secretary General of the UN as far back as 2013. And Nigeria happens to be the first node that was launched in Abuja. The essence of that network is to facilitate how we achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the 169 targets, and the 232 indicators. Across the world, there are crises, there are conflicts, there are problems, but our own business is to find solutions to this problem. Yes, people can criticize, and that's what you see in the social media, that's what you read in the social media. That's not the way development goes. Development is about finding solutions to our immediate problems and, in fact, future problems that we may anticipate. So as members of this group, you have a duty, a sacred duty, to contribute to the solutions that will help us in developing sustainably. SDSN Nigeria is taking this trouble to fund this activity. We don't take funds from government. We look for funds within ourselves to ensure that we're able to carry out these activities. This is our own contribution to the initiatives that will help us to develop sustainably. So I want to join all of you. As you join this masterclass, please take it seriously. It will transform you, it will transform your environment, and it will help you to contribute to creating a beautiful world that we all like to have. So I want to welcome you to this masterclass and to also thank the coordinator, Emmanuel Olonyo, who's been doing a fantastic job on behalf of all of us. Please cooperate with him, work closely with him, and at the end of it all, you realize that it is really worth the while for you to have been part of this process. So once again, I'd like to welcome you. and admonish you to enjoy the entire program. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Prof. And thank you for this warm welcome. We sincerely appreciate, and thank you for your support ever since the inception of the program. And thank you for all you do. We are assuring you, and I mean the entire advocate of this quarter are assuring you that we are going to make you proud, and we are going to contribute immensely to the development and also attaining the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And I also want to say that this is a period for us to start getting to engage each other, start getting to engage various stakeholders across various states. Yeah. And just like Prof said, we have to see to solving global challenges and see less of complaints, less of critics. And yeah, we have a lot of work to do as youth, as change makers, as innovators, as leaders. And this morning, we are blessed also. We are going to be having 2 sessions this morning before we have the key information session. And after the first session is on evolution and concept of sustainable development, while the second session is on innovation and technology for sustainable development. After the second session, we are going to be having the information session that details more updates about the program structure, the activities of the SDG Advocate Programme, and what we are all being expected to do as advocates. What are the projects we are going to be embarking on? What is the series? What exactly, how does it really look like? And what are those tasks? What are the deliverables? Because for each and every activities on this program, there is a specific timeline to it, and it's very, very important. It's very, very important for each and everyone to key to that timeline and ensure you are working accordingly to it. This morning, I believe we are ready, you are prepared to further. And those of us that are joining via YouTube, you are not left out. Yeah, we are not leaving you behind. We can assure you that this is a wonderful session, which you're also going to enjoy. The program managers are there to pick up your questions, your comments, and every other thing that you might want to share, and also share on the Zoom platform with the facilitators. And please, I also want to admonish us to try as much as possible to be very attentive to every part of the modules which are going to be taught today, and also the remaining 3 masterclass sessions, 3 weeks of masterclass sessions which we are going to have. However, I will still be leading the very first module, which is focused on evolution and that's evolution and concept of sustainable development. While I share my screen, I will also see how I can get that just in a minute. Okay, all right. Please, those of us that are raising a hand, we can you drop your hand when it's time for you to ask questions. You are going to be given permission to ask questions, and definitely it's going to be an interactive class. It's going to be an engaging class indeed, whereby you can't hear me. Please, I want you to confirm, the program managers, please, I would like you confirm my audio if I'm very audible. You can just use the comment section to confirm that. All right, thank you very much. And once again, my name is Emmanuel Olaoluwoyo, and I'll be speaking this morning on the evolution and concept of sustainable development. Thank you, Silvia. I can hear, I can have your feedback here. And when we talk about sustainable development is, I always see it as a buzzword which each and everyone we use in every discourse, we use in every occasion, we use in every event. And so good now, we have it as part of government policies, government agendas, and these are things that is really at this present time, and people get to know more. And sustainable development, as it is, when we define sustainable development, the common definition of sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet our needs. Just like a friend, we always define sustainable development, that development is about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And mostly how we get to make use of human resources, how we get to make use of natural resources, whereby we are conserving and we are making good use of it in such a way that the future generations too will be able to meet these needs. They will be able to meet these resources. Each and every day, population keeps growing, and these resources too keeps depreciating. And you all know the statistics when it comes to population. And it's very important, as I'm going to refer to us as change makers on this score. It's very important that in this kind of situation, I can see a comment. Please, the program managers, there's a comment from Umar. Okay. If it's possible, okay, I think the caption is activated now for those who are going to be getting to roll with the program via the caption mode. This morning, I'm going to be talking regarding various aspects, which starts from the theory of development, definition of development, sustainable development, evolution of sustainable development, the emergence of MDGs to the transitions to MDGs, the formation of SDGs, how the SDGs came on board. I also speak about the dimension of sustainable development, that's the economic, social, and environmental aspect of sustainable development. Also, I'll be speaking about the pillars of sustainable development. Those are the 5 P's, and I'll also speak about the core principles of sustainable development. And to end with, I will speak about the 6 transformations, and also I will speak briefly about SDS and what are the pillars, the activities, then the theory of change. And before I start, I know many of us are acquainted with the word sustainable development. But when you hear the word sustainable development, what really comes to your mind? What is that thing that comes to your mind when you hear about sustainable development? What do you think sustainable development is? I would like to have 1 or 2 feedbacks, maybe through the comment section. And if you want to, okay, awesome. Kevin said something that can last. Awesome. That's a very good definition. And if you want to speak, you can raise your hand. Okay, I can see from Gambo recording, I can see that development of the nation. Okay. I just want to take 1 or 2 live comments. Please, the program managers, we appreciate if we can confirm those who are raising their hand for feedbacks. I can see some hands up. Okay, maybe let's take Keneshi. Keneshi, please, can you grant Keneshi the permission to speak? Can you grant Keneshi the permission to speak to give his definition of sustainable development? What comes to your mind when you hear about the word sustainable development? Oh, I can see a long definition from Emeka: development that meets the needs of the current generation without compromising the future generations from meeting their own needs. All right, please, can we give Kenechi the permission to speak? Hello, Kenechi, you can unmute your mic and speak, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay. When I hear sustainable development, the first thing that comes to my mind is inequality, because for a development to be sustainable, there has to be existing inequality, both in access to amenities, access to both human and material resources. So when I hear sustainable development, I think of efforts, tangible impacts that address inequality in the society. So
That's
for
a
me,
very
sustainable development refers to efforts and impact to address inequality in the society. Thank you.
awesome. That's a very good definition. Thank you for that. I would like to take one more person. Can we have Ifeanyi? You can kindly unmute your mic. If you can unmute your mic. I'm not sure. Okay, your mic is not even active. I would like to have a lady. I would like to have a lady on the call to unmute her mic to speak. Okay, Muritala, you want to speak? Okay, you can speak on Muritala, but we'd like to know where you are joining from because your display name is not appropriate. All right, okay. So you can speak on Muritala.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm joining from Kaduna.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, sustainable development simply means a development that won't affect the present and that the future generation will be able to develop from. In a layman language, let's just say sustainable development simply means something that will affect the past, but it will be developed for the future generation to make use of. Just as simple as that.
Okay, all right. These are very good definitions, these are very good perspective, and we can drop our hands now. And I really appreciate each of those comments. And because what sustainable development really targets is targets economic growth, social inclusion, then also the environmental. I won't use the word equilibrium now. I can also use the word sustainability. And when we talk about sustainable development, it has to relate with the principle of meeting human development, meeting human needs, where at the same time sustaining these resources. I mean, these natural resources, ability for us to sustain these natural resources without depleting it. And, you know, we always say that we have only one Earth. And we have to do everything possible to keep this planet. We have to do everything possible to keep this planet very safe. So it's focused more on, just like he mentioned economic growth, and it's built beyond the environment alone. It covers various aspects of social inclusion, economic growth, environmental aspects, governance, and these are key things which led to the formation of the SDGs. I really don't have much time to dwell deep into this, but I'm going to share more information talking about the evolution of sustainable development and how the sustainable development all got started. We can trace it back to 1945 and getting forward to the 1972, which was the UN Conference on Human Environment. You know, the core focus then was based on environmental aspects, and that was when the United Nations Environmental Programme was established, and later which led to the World Conservation Strategy in 1980. And moving forward to the aspect of the evolution of sustainable development, you know, many people always trace it back to maybe 2015 or 2012 when the development started. No, it's far away from 1945, 1972 when this initiative started. And moving forward to 1987, where the Brundtland Commission report was published, where it's also referred to as our common future. Yeah, and that was where we had the definition of the development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the future needs, the future generations from meeting their own needs. And later in 1982, we had more focus on the three pillars of three pillars. Then it was referred to as pillars, but now the pillars we have 5 pillars now. And I'm going to speak more about this because many a times we have some misconception regarding this, that we have just 3 pillars or maybe 3 dimensions or 5 pillars. But when we get to talk more about the pillars, we build more on that. And then it's more focused on environment, society, and economy as an independent and mutually reinforcing pillars. And in year 2000, the Millennium Development Declaration came up, and that's also which led to the 8 Millennium Development Goals. And building further to 2012, where we had the Rio 20 Summit, which built on the future we want, and in where the world leaders had to advance about strategy towards achieving a sustainable future. I can see someone writing on my screen. Is there a way, please, program managers, I will appreciate if you can coordinate that. And the initiative behind sustainable SDGs started all the way from 2012, and that's when the formation started, and led to a discussion process for 3 good years before it was later adopted in September 25, 2015. And as parts, I will always not miss this out because we are Africans, and it's very important we also have the good knowledge about the African Union Agenda 2063. We all have to know the Africa we want, and this too has its own set of goals and its own set of objectives. And moving on to the transition from MDGs to SDGs. Yeah, when we talk about the transitions from MDGs to SDGs, like I mentioned, this came up in September 2000 when the United Nations Millennium Summit was held at the General Assembly, and whereby they were able to adopt the Millennium Declaration by Ban Ki-moon, that is Secretary General Ban Ki-moon then. And we can see these 8 goals of the MDGs, which are mainly built on poverty, that's solving the issues of poverty, and also solving mostly environmental challenges. But there are less to more focus on governance, more focus on partnership, more focus on social needs, and more focus on economic needs, which later led to we having more concern for coming up with the Sorry, I can see someone drawing on my screen. I will appreciate if this is deleted. Okay, as you can see, the MDGs, the very first MDGs has to do with eradicating poverty and hunger. And the second one has to do with achieving universal primary education. When looking at the very first SDGs, MDGs rather, eradicating poverty and hunger, this was later built and split into 2. We know we have it in the SDGs, which is Goal 1 and Goal 2. And the MDG 2 led to the 4th SDGs, and which we also have the 3rd SDGs, which is focused on promoting gender equality and also empowering women, which is the SDG 5 we have now. And the MDG 4 then, which is currently the that's reduced child mortality, that relates more to good health and well-being. And also MDG 5, which has to do with maternal health, that is also incorporated within the Sustainable Development Goal 3. And we also have the SDG 6, which is still incorporated within the MDGs 3. And you can see the 7th MDGs, which ensure environmental sustainability, which is built within climate action. And the last one, which has to do with global partnership for development. Yeah, we keep building on partnership over and over. As you can see that we just have 8 goals here, and there are a lot of new goals which are being developed, which are being formed now. And this time around, I will quickly speak about the formation of SDGs. And like I earlier mentioned, it's all started in 2012 at the Rio Summit and in Brazil, and it took a 3-year process before this could be concluded. And one of the things that make this that made the SDG more special, that made the SDGs more special than the MDGs, is the formation process of the SDGs, because it's built on a participatory process, not just maybe the developed countries coming alone and enforcing, because that's one of the critiques of MDGs, that developed countries are quite forcing it on the developing countries. So MDGs is not really applicable to the developed countries. It's mostly applicable to the developing countries. And this another thing which make the SDGs quite more better than the MDGs is the unparalleled participatory policy process, which led to the formation of the SDGs. And like I earlier mentioned, the SDGs has 17 basic goals. 17 basic objectives, which is from the goal 1 to goal 17, with 169 targets and 230 indicators. And this on mirroring, ensuring that each goals are being achieved. And for each of these goals, each of those targets too, there are specific indicators that are being used to measure these targets. And another thing which we also need to have in mind as change makers is these MDGs are not just didn't just came up by the government. It came different groups, different CSOs, different organizations, youth individuals came together through this participatory process, whereby they kept publishing this in different global newspapers. And I also want to speak and emphasize that when you refer to the SDGs, you can also refer to SDGs as the global goals, and you can also refer to it as the Agenda 2030. Yes, you can refer to it as Agenda. Generally, is in 2015 it was launched as Transforming Our World, Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Please, I want to say this clearly, that each of these points I'm saying, you should note it, because these are things that you are going to be assessed on later. And moving forward, I will quickly speak about, I would just like to throw this poll to you, and I would like to use the comment section. What are you doing currently? Because there is a question that people always ask, that can we achieve the SDGs by 2030? And I'm going to ask that question. Do you believe we can achieve the SDGs by 2030? And if your answer is yes, I would like you to tell us why you are saying yes to that. And if your answer is no, we would like you also justify that. We like to just spend like 2-3 minutes to quickly do that. Okay, we have 5 people raising their hand now. Can we just please kindly allow Olorun Shola to unmute our mic and to share our own comments. Please, if your hand is not meant to be up, you can drop it so that we can just concentrate on those who are raising their hand for now. Olorun Shola, kindly unmute your mic and speak.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For me, this is a very practical issue. This is not faith or religion we are talking about here. I like to be real. This is 2023, and we are talking about 2030. Within a context of Nigeria as a nation or Africa as a continent, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I don't see us achieving 2030, this SDGs in 2030. Because like you said, in the forming of the SDGs, it's something that has a kind of a multi-sectoral stakeholder engagement, which of course, everybody had to come together to make, to draft this document. And for me, if this is going to succeed, there has to be a kind of a very robust kind of body language from the part of the government and the citizenry, to show that there's a commitment, to getting these things done. So for me, as much as I like to be optimistic, I do not see us achieving this by 2030.
Okay. Thank you for that, Olorun Shola, for that comment. And I'm going to respond to that. But I love your perspective. Yeah, I love it that you are very factual and without any gainsaying. I would like to have a lady on this call. I've been hearing great men speaking since morning. Okay, I can see Mercy Eberichi. Mercy, kindly unmute your mic. Mercy Eze, can you unmute your mic and let's get your feedback? What do you think? Do you
Okay.
believe we can achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I like what the last speaker said, but even at that, a program like this that we are currently on, being an advocate of SDG, is one of the strategies. Of course, it's not enough saying that things or this is not achievable, there's nothing we can do. The second question is, as individual, what are we doing so far? Thank you, SDSN, for programs like this. Now, there will be propaganda, there will be awareness on SDGs. While reading the email sent to me, I saw where they say something about own a school project. In projects like this, we are doing our very best. For me, I believe it's achievable when we do our very best, while we promote each of the SDGs as much as we can. I believe it's quite attainable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Thank you for the feedback you just shared. And yeah, you are very positive. I would like to take just one more person, and I would like to take just one more person. Okay, Victoria, you can unmute your mic. Victoria, can you unmute your mic?
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Victoria.
Okay, so I do not think that the SDGs will be attainable by 2030. We've been at this since 2012, like he said earlier, and there has been significant progress. Obviously, there has been really huge progress, but the progress didn't go as fast as the people who created the SDGs would have anticipated. Now, for example, let's look at climate change. I feel like Nigeria is nowhere near achieving that the SDG for climate change, be it life below water or on land. You understand? That's just for climate change. We could talk about gender equality. We could talk about having quality education for accessible to both underprivileged children as much as privileged children have or do. Because when we talk about quality education, we all know that most of the time it's private schools, the expensive private schools that have the qualitative education with facilities and good enough teachers. But when we talk about certain government-built schools, they try their best, they do well, but it is not giving the quality education that the SDG actually wants. And it is not really accessible to a lot of people. So if we're being realistic, this is 2023. 2030 is like 7 years away, less than 7 years away. So let's not be biased. The actual fact is, I feel like we would have to.
Yeah. I love your points, and I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you that have spoken. And those of us that want to say something that might not really have the time to share that, because my time is getting close, that I have to end the session now. I'm going to say this, that achieving the SDGs by 2030 lies in the hands of me and you. And, just like this quote by Martin, that everyone wants a change, but no one wants to change. We all have to be the change that we wish to see in the world. And that leads to the question that what exactly are you doing now? What are you doing that contributes to the attainment of the SDGs? No matter how small it is, it's not until you have $1 million, it's not until you have a $10 million company before you can say that you want to contribute to the attainment of the SDGs. And yeah, in every of our action, day-to-day action, the very first paramount thing is we all have to work on our behavioral change. In as much as we can work within our behavioral change, it's not just individuals alone, organizations. This is applicable to governments, different stakeholders. In as much as we can put these things in place, we can achieve the SDGs in 2030. We are just halfway away from the 2030 agenda, but I can tell you specifically, we can achieve the SDGs, we can achieve particular goals. And that would quickly lead me to telling us more about the statistics of Nigeria. I mean, the ratings of Nigeria. You are going to be very shocked. I intentionally.
Emmanuel.
Okay, sir. Prof is here on the call. Thank you, sir. I guess Prof wants to say something. Hello, sir.
Can you unmute me, please? Can you unmute me?
Yes, you are unmuted, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been enjoying the discourse so far. I have to leave the meeting now for another activity. But let me plead with participants, as many of you are as we have on the call. I want you to operate in this activity with an open mind. When you come with a made-up mind, it will not be helpful. Now, we are training you as change makers. Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now, Prof.
Yeah, we are looking at you as people who will bring change to their various communities. A country develops if the unit develop. And the units, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you, Prof.
Yes, the unit starts with the family, then you go to the community levels where you have the schools, where you have religious organizations, where you have the traditional institutions. It is only after that that we start talking about local government, we start talking about state government, we start talking about federal government. So we are actually building your capacity to be able to change your own small unit, your own environment. When all of you, or as many of you as possible, are able to change your own small units, create oases in your own desert, that is when we are going to have development. Please, let's take this matter seriously. Don't let us criticize. There's no need for it. We all know what the problems are. And the problems are not unique to Nigeria. Some of us operate in many countries as far as this SDG issue is concerned. Nigeria is not the worst. So please let us focus on what we can learn that can help us to change our own small units. So that's my plea. That's my plea. So let's focus on solutions. How can we change our small units, our small environment? So with that, I want to sign off. Well done, Emmanuel. So I'll be having the feedback from you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Professor Labo. Thank you. And we sincerely appreciate the time you spent with us this morning. And we hope to have you some other time, sir. Okay, going back to the SDGs, I said I was going to show you the ratings of Nigeria amongst all other countries. And as we have it for 2023, last year, Nigeria was 139 out of 163 countries. And this year, Nigeria is 146 out of 166 countries. However, this doesn't mean that we are going back. Nigerians are working effortlessly, and I've been on global events, I've been on international competitions, whereby we have representatives from different continents. I see Nigerians winning these leagues. I see Nigerians winning these competitions. And most especially when Nigerians are out of the space there, they perform excellently well. Even those who are here and they have good things which they are working on. So I can assure you that as change makers, as innovators, you can contribute towards achieving these SDGs. And also based on the Sustainable Development Report 2023 report, and this report was created by the Sustainable Development Network, and the rating which cut across all the countries. and it's really mapping out areas which each country is doing, which each country is performing well, area which countries are not performing well. And you can see a lot of red, which is just minor changes. And sometimes when you see an arrow that it's dropping, that means it's decreasing. And when you see an arrow that is going forward like this, that means it's stagnating. And when you see an arrow that is going up, it means that it's moderately improving. However, we all have a role. We all have a role to achieve to play in this, and it's very important we get on it. Yeah, it's very, very important we build more effort on it. I have to skip some aspects. So going to the dimensions of sustainable development, and I know that many of us, we have various aspects of SDGs, I mean, different goals which we advocate for and which organizations are built on. We have three basic dimensions. We have the first one, which is economic sustainability, which is more focused on economic growth, which is more focused on the use of natural resources in a responsible form, conserving human resources. And we also have the social sustainability. We also have the social sustainability, which is also focused on human welfare, that's focused on healthcare and human development, basically. And the third one, which we have, is the environmental sustainability that has to do with preserving the natural resources, preserving the habitat, preserving biodiversity and ecosystem. And we all have a role to play in that. In every day, in every of our action, even like this morning, I know many of us took a shower, and some maybe when you are about to have your brush teeth, you just left the tap open, and you know these contributes negatively to the planet health too. And these are things we have to be very conscious about, and we have to take relevance about. And talking about the pillars of sustainable development, and I'm also going to speak about how this is interconnected, and because that is one of the major principles of sustainable development, the interconnectedness. And we have 5 pillars. Yeah, I can see some people saying requesting about the slide. The slide, you are going to have access to that. We have 5 basic pillars. The very first pillar is people. And we also have planet, we have partnership, we have peace, we have prosperity. And looking at these pillars, we have each of the goals under these pillars. Like the pillar with that's the one on people. We have SDG 1, SDG 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 11 focused on people. And prosperity has to do with SDG 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. And planet has to do with SDG 13, 14, and 15. And peace has to do with SDG 16. Like we always say that there cannot be sustainable development without peace, and there cannot be peace without sustainable development. So the last pillar has to do with SDG 17, which is mostly focused on partnership. And when you talk about the dimensions of sustainability, we have the social sustainability that has to do with the 1st to 6th pillar that's focused on social inclusion, that's focused on human development. And the other one has to do with economic sustainability, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we also have the environmental sustainability, which is basically goal 13, 14, and 15. And we also have goal 16 and 17, which is the means of implementing this pillar. We call it the means of implementation. And that's where good governance imbibes. And, you know, I once mentioned it. There are some times when you read, maybe when you search on dimensions of sustainable development or principles of sustainable development, you see governance alongside. And because governance is very key to achieving each and every of these. Quickly, to also wrap up, I'm going to speak about the SDG transformation. The SDG transformation was also launched recently by Professor Geoffrey Sachs with his team. Professor Geoffrey Sachs is the Global Director of SDSN. And the structure of the SDG transformation is, if we can achieve the 17 goals, and we can achieve these 6 transformations, then we are automatically achieving the 17 goals. And these transformations are built around various aspects that has to do with education, health, and energy, sustainable food, cities and communities, and mostly digital technology, digital innovation, revolution. As you all know, we are in an era of digital technology now. I think the second module will be on innovation and technology for sustainable development, which we get to know more. But there are two key things that this pillar is also concerned about. That's leaving no one behind, and also it has to do with circularity and decoupling. And I believe we are definitely, there's still going to be a section on circular economy where we get to learn about the 10 R's of circular economy and going beyond the 3 R's, which we also talk about. So briefly, before I end the session, because another session is going to start by 10, I will quickly say 1 or 2 things about SDSN and what exactly is the pillar of impact of SDSN. We are more concerned about making impact. We are more concerned about helping youth, educating youth about the SDGs. We are more concerned about the innovations whereby people can get to scale up their innovations through the trainings, and we are more concerned about building a great community whereby you can connect with people across different countries. We have a network in over 143 countries as we speak, and many people are doing excellently well. You can become a member organization of SDSN directly, as much as you have an organization you are running. You can get to apply to become a member organization of SDSN, and that's the only way you can use to. I know many people would also like to ask that question: that how can I be part of SDSN? How can I join SDSN? That's the only way you can. And registration call is always on quarterly basis. And another key area which I will speak about is our programs. And aside this SDG Advocate Program, we have various programs which we run. We have the program that is mostly focused on education. That's the Global School Program. And it's basically K-12 education, focusing on primary and secondary aspect. We have the startup program, that's the solutions program for innovators and changemakers. We have the youth network, and we have the SDSN youth in Nigeria. Also, we have across in all other countries. Then we have the SDG students program. That's the SDG students hub, and most especially undergraduate students that are on this call. You can check and find, get to know about your student at the SDG hub in your school. And if there is no SDG hub in your school, you also have the, you can go ahead to say that you want to create one, you want to legalize one. The team in charge are going to coordinate that and see how they can help you to achieve that. So this is a global map of our network and great things we do. And like I earlier said, we are more concerned about helping people, getting people more educated about sustainable development. And we are also more concerned about getting people to upscale their innovation, whereby they can create a scaling and sustainable innovation, solving global crisis challenges. At this point, I want to say thank you all for listening, and we hope to have more sessions which you can learn more about the SDGs and various aspects of sustainable development. Right now, I would just like to take 1 or 2 questions. If there are questions that are related to this session which I've just led, I would like you can raise your hand to ask a question. And those of us on the YouTube, you can also use the comment section to ask your question. Okay, I can see Adetola, you can just unmute your mic. Richard, please, I will appreciate you grant them access to unmute their mic and ask their question. Okay, Faith from Lagos State, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. Faith from Lagos State, kindly unmute your mic and ask your question, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the lecture, sir. So you mentioned about the SDGs Youth Network. You said if we want to join, we have to have an organization. What if we have an organization, but we're not the co-CEO of the organization or the founder of the organization? Can we still join the youth network? And is there a link we can also get it?
Okay, all right. If you are the co-CEO, definitely the registration form which you are going to fill entails the name of the founder, also the name of co-CEO, co-founder of the organization. So it's something that you can get to register. And once the next call is out, the community managers are going to share the link with you so that you can get to register to become a member of that. Okay, can we have David? David, can you unmute your mic and ask your question?
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. David.
Yes, I'm very happy to be a part of this sustainability drive by SDSN. My question goes this way. I know that it's a collective responsibility if these SDGs are to be actualized by 2030. But as someone who has experience in green energy, I worked on a project where, I'm going to be very brief with this, I worked on a project that was supposed to convert waste to electricity in my state, here in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
And yes, and I was the community manager of that project. But we always had this great resistance coming from the government in actualizing that project. I think there were some bottlenecks. Maybe some people were gaining with the current way electricity is being sold and produced in the States. So we had those kind of challenges. So my question is, what kind of framework does SDSN and like organizations employ to go around this kind of bottlenecks in actualizing these SDGs? Thank you very much.
Okay, before I answer your question, I would like to take one more question. Bossede, kindly unmute your mic and ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. That session was very insightful. Question is it possible for an individual who is in a line of work that aligns with any of the sustainable goals to join the SDSN organization?
Sorry, come again.
Okay, I've heard people ask questions about how NGOs or an organization can join SDSN. But my question is it possible for an individual to join SDSN? I mean, an individual that is already in a line of work that is fulfilling any of the SDG goals.
Okay. So I would just say the answer is yes. You can be part of the team. You can be a project team on SDSN. I mean, with the SDSN Youth Nigeria, depending on what each is. But most importantly, you must have completed a particular program, so which you have been certified for. So that's what I can say regarding that. Then to my brother asked a question regarding framework which SDSN might have in place in solving these kind of issues. I know that I earlier mentioned the solutions program, which is mostly focused on startups, entrepreneurs, and people that are into, just like you said, waste to energy and waste innovation and things that has to do with recycling and the likes. Yeah, we have programs like this that even without I really don't know the kind of bottleneck which it's called, which is in your state, but I quite understand when you are trying to achieve a project, but due to the fact that some people have, there is an amount of money that is coming in for them, or that should come in for them, and it's not coming, they might want to do some things. But however, in this generation, there are ways whereby you can get to achieve anything you want to achieve without any bottleneck. But we can get to discuss that personally, and I can share some later after the call. All right, can we have maybe 2 more people? Success, let's have Success. Success, can you unmute your mic and ask a question?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Somebody has asked the question, sorry to draw you back, but I didn't get your response. My question is, how can an NGO that is into human lives be a part of SDSN?
Okay. Just like you said, someone has asked that question. I will still like, okay, let's have Ifeanyi, then I will take all the questions together and respond to it. Ifeanyi, can you unmute your mic and ask a question?
Okay, good morning. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. My question is, as one who wants to promote the goal for which is education, quality education, and possibly in your state, how would you align to this goal by contacting body that can actually support in eradicating mostly malpractice within the school sector, because that is where the degeneration starts from? Thank you.
How do you what? Sorry, I didn't hear that part clearly.
How do you get bodies that can actually help in promoting?
I think we lost him. Okay, let's have Lawson from Niger State.
So good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you for the presentation. It's well understood. Okay, my question is, I want to know if SDGs, if it is a non-governmental organization or it is promulgated by the government or by law. Thank you.
Okay, that is a very good question, which is still related to the first question that was asked. I just want to try and see if there are questions on the trainings that we earlier had. All right, can we have Toib? Toib, can you unmute your mic and ask your question?
Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be on this in this meeting today. So I don't really have a question to ask. I just want to appreciate the SSDN for the opportunity to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, and we sincerely appreciate you too for giving to the society. Yeah, I know that we are all change makers, and we are going to do excellently great to achieving these goals. To those who have asked the question regarding the organization, it's very important for us to know that the organization is a global network of the United Nations, which was launched in 2012. And that's by the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and also by the Global Director, Professor Jeffrey Sachs. And like we earlier had Professor Labode Popola on the call before he left. And right about then, we have the organization set up to come up with various expertise to innovate solutions towards accelerating the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. And like I mentioned, you can only become a member organization of Sustainable Development Solutions Network Youth if you have an organization which you are running currently, and or maybe you also belong to a student group. Yeah, if you are in the student association, you can also apply through that. So, however, there are more opportunities within the community which you can get to build on and leverage on. So I would like to end it at this point as we have our second facilitator who is already on the call now, and I would just like to bring her on board in person of Mrs. Oni Olufayo. And this morning, like I earlier mentioned, she's going to be running the session on innovations and technology for sustainable development. While she prepares to come up to our session, I will just let me read her profile. Oni Olufayo is an individual with passion for law, policy, and sustainable development goals, currently pursuing LLB Bachelor of Law at the University of South Wales, United Kingdom. Onye education has been marked by excellence, including being a recipient of the prestigious Dr. B scholarship at the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance. Onye has made significant contribution as a founder of the Sego Games, African Force Development Game Company. As a founder of the Sego Games, Onye is also driving innovative approach to bridge the gap between people and development through educational game. She is a global youth ambassador for the World Organization, and she has been featured and facilitated in several organizations like Business Fight Poverty, International Business Day, and TEDx. And this morning, we are so blessed to have Madam Onye Olufayo on today's session, as she's going to be leading the topic Innovation and Technology for Sustainable Development. Good morning, Ms. Onye. Thank you for joining us this morning. I believe we can hear me.
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Good morning. I stopped the, what's the name? Can you guys hear me well and see me well? Are you there?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were. Good morning, everyone. My name is Onye Olufayo, and I'm so excited. I almost I'm like excited to be here because, to be honest, around 2 o'clock yesterday, I thought the whole thing was cancelled because it didn't reach out to me or it didn't send me stuff. So it's really a task to be here this morning because I had a very busy day yesterday. Please, can you upload the slides we used the other time? I couldn't edit it. I didn't have so much time to edit it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Is
okay,
it
will you mind you share your screen from your end?
Okay, I could do that.
Okay, thank you very much. You have access to share post.
Share. Let me know if it's already sharing. Yeah, share screen. Desktop. Share. I don't know. I think I have to correct something in my settings before I can share Zoom. Oops. Sorry, excuse me, please.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
fine.
You
can't get it from your side because I don't know. I need to be able to accept.
Okay, just in a minute, let's see how we can get that from the drive while we share it up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Recording in progress.
When this
Also,
okay, I believe you can see from your end.
Yes, I
can. Yeah, all right, thank you.
I'm coming. Yes. Sorry for taking everyone's time. Good morning, everyone. My name is Onyolufai. I'm excited to be here for the second time. And I really hope that this topic this morning interests your passion and is aligned with what you want to know about sustainable development and also technology. This is the second time I'm taking this topic, and I'm sorry that I couldn't even put in new things that I've discovered since the last time I had this conversation. It's just because the timeline that it gave me before this particular conversation, this particular speaking engagement, and when he told me it was too short, was really short. Emmanuel, so you're taking the fourth. The fourth is on you. So yes, the topic this morning is innovation and technology for sustainable development. Please, can you switch to the second slide? Yeah, so in this topic, we'll be focusing on the 17 goals, the definitions, where we are now, the role, and the section 2, we'll be talking on key innovation and technology trends. And GESEGO, that's the company that I run as a case study. And the section 3, we'll be talking about challenges, opportunities, policy, and regulatory framework. Understanding sustainable developmental goals. What do you think SDGs are? I would like you guys to drop your opinions on the comment section, please. Or if we can take 2 or 3 people. Emmanuel, is that possible for us to take 2 or 3 people to explain what they think SDGs are? Emmanuel, can you hear me? Emmanuel, can you hear me? Emmanuel, if you can hear me, please, anybody that can explain what SDGs are should specify so that we can take them to justify what they think SDG means to them.
Okay, we have some hands up. Maybe you just like to take one of them.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. We suggest we start from Mr. Yerima. Please can you mute your mic?
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
About SDG, I think is just a set of 17 global goals established by United Nations, which is aimed to address a range of global challenges, including poverty, inequality, and so on. So these goals were aimed to create more sustainable and equitable world by 2030. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that explanation. Can we also have another person, just one person more?
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I think SDGs, like Sustainable Development Goals, are those steps that the nation. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so are those key steps and necessary steps that the United Nations has actually brought together? They filtered out to be the things that we need to change our economy, to change our society, to change who we are, because we are change makers. So they all filtered it down to 17, and that is what we are going through now.
Okay, I think I was able to pick one of the because it was really difficult to hear you. Please, can you turn up the mic now? Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's enough. Two people explain what SDGs are. Just to elaborate on what they had said. In short, I really like to look at SDGs as a blueprint. There's a noise there, Manuel. Do you know where that's coming from? Yeah. So thank you so much.
Please, office, someone is disturbing.
I think it's better now, but it is still happening. Yeah, can I proceed now?
Yes, you can proceed. You can proceed.
Yeah, so I like to see SDGs as a blueprint where everyone can. I like to see SDGs as a blueprint. So this is it. They rise in every aspect of development, every area of development. Is it poverty? Is it health? Is it road? Is it technology? They can see that, oh, every area can actually fall into place. So I like to see it as a blueprint that the 198 countries came together to come up with. And you know, before SDGs, there was actually MDGs. So I like to see it as a blueprint for us to actually track this goal, for us to know that, oh, we have a to-do list to do today, we have a task to do tomorrow, we have something to implement to make us achieve a sustainable future by 2030. Please, can you go to the next slide? So on the topic today, which is innovation and technology, innovation and technology for sustainable development refers to the development and application of new or improved solutions, process, products, and services that address environmental, social, and economic challenges while ensuring the long-term viability of natural resources, ecosystem, and human communities. Innovation involves the creation, development, and adoption of new ideas, technologies, and practices that can lead to significant improvement in sustainable development outcome. It involves identifying and solving complex problems using creative and novel approaches, often drawing on diverse knowledge and expertise. If you look at 21st century now, there are like a lot of technological solutions happening. So how can we implement this technology to actually achieve SDGs? Trust me, there are numerous of them. And it's so impressive that everybody's really, I think I had a conversation with Emmanuel on Monday, and it was still based on innovation in achieving sustainable developmental goals. Emmanuel, am I right? I think so, right? Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So you'll be surprised on how much of technological solutions are coming in place to actually make sure that we achieve SDGs by 2030. And at the end of this task, I will be very, very glad if, okay, I think that we have, as we proceed, that we're going to have a breakout section where some of you would actually think of ideas that are feasible or that you think we could implement to actually achieve SDGs by 2030. In my opinion,
sorry, I would like for your attention. We have some people on YouTube. For the sake of this on YouTube, it's possible for us to skip that. It can be so we can throw it out as a question to them and respond to it.
Oh, because of the YouTube people, right? Okay, fine. Yes, please, you can move on to the next slide, please. Technology, okay, I think I was focusing on innovation. So technology, on the other hand, involves the application of scientific knowledge and engineering principles to create and improve product, process, and system. Technology for sustainable development include technology that reduce environmental impact, increase resource efficiency, enhance social equity and inclusion, and also contribute to economic development. Together, innovation and technology plays a very critical role in advancing sustainable development by promoting environmentally sound, inclusive, and economic viable solutions to global challenges. As I have said earlier, before we can actually be able to, it is not just, so that's why I think I classified it into two places, innovation and also technology, because you can actually come up with a lot of innovative ideas that doesn't necessarily need technology for you to implement, and that doesn't need technology for us to actually achieve SDGs. But if you look at the two together, and before that we are in 21st century, everybody now has access to a technology, even like people that are in old rural areas. That's why you see people like Area I working at using education as rural areas such as Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina. They're trying to use technology as a way to have a significant impact on education. So if you look at that aspect, those two things can actually be apart. They don't have to be together. But for the case of this conversation, innovation and technology is just really one of the best things we need to actually achieve SDGs by 2030. And by the time we're done with this conversation, you'll be able to understand where I am coming from more. Please, can we move to the next slide? So I classified the conversation into three aspects. The topic was, why do we need innovation and technology to achieve sustainable development? So one, innovation and technology have the potential to increase efficiency in various industries such as energy, transportation, and agriculture. Like I said earlier, education as well, because I'd use education, for example. This can lead to reduced waste, lower cost, and increased productivity, all of which contribute to sustainable development. And for two, sustainable development also involves the responsible use of resources, and technology can play a very critical role in this. For example, new technologies can help to improve water conservation, reduce the use of non-renewable resources, and increase recycling rates. Three, sustainable development requires economic growth that is both socially and environmentally sustainable. Technology and innovation can provide new economic opportunities, especially in developing countries, by creating new industries and jobs that are less resource intensive and more sustainable. Before I proceed, I would like some people to just come on and just explain why they think we need innovation and technology to achieve sustainable development.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Can I speak?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. One thing we all need to put in consideration is the fact that we now have mobile devices across people's hands. We have people, so it gets easier for you to reach a large amount of population, a large amount of audience, even in this confine of your room. That's one thing. Again, traditionally, you understand how television, radio was one means to reach people. But now, social media platforms has made it quite easier to
a fellow that was being delivered the bondage of evil author, community evil author.
Hello, you still there?
Yes, I thought somebody was talking.
No, please proceed.
Oh, okay. So I'm again saying that what we have as technology, how that you could, from the confine of your room, create website. You could from the confine of your room create advert, create content that could reach our audience, and most especially when innovation comes in. Innovations like, for example, trying to put agriculture, for example, as trying to reach us, put agriculture in the context of technology now. Say you want to know more about how to secure food, for example, security. And if, for example, you look around at other countries who are doing that thing well. For example, you say United States of America is doing much with food security. Then you leverage on the power of YouTube or probably other social media platforms to learn what they are doing. And you can also, by that, transfer that same thread right from the confine of your room. I think I've been able to say that we can, from the confine of our wherever space we have, learn how others are doing it, then we can bring it down and through the help of innovation and technology. I hope I've made that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Please, can we have just one more person?
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, please, Emmanuel, can we, before we proceed, please, can we mute anybody that is not speaking at the moment? Because I can hear myself, and I think it's also affecting the audience, and they're not really here because they can't hear clearly.
Yeah. That is being worked on so that everybody who wants to say anything, you just raise your hand. I believe we already know that for those of us that are having our hands up, we can speak. So then you can, if there's anybody you intentionally want to talk to, you can call them. But we have a lot of hands up now. Maybe we'll just advise each and everyone to drop their hands. And
yeah, let me just speak from the hands that I can see. Let me see. Okay. Can you please unmute Happiness?
Happiness, please send your mute on one time. Hello, Happiness. Can you unmute your mic? I'm not sure Happiness is there.
Yes, can you unmute any other person apart from Happiness?
Okay. Can have Olorunshola. Olorunshola, you can unmute your mic. Your hand is up. But please, if you are not asking a question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to agree with the first speaker, but just let me, I just want to add this dimension, that since the Sustainable Development Goal is time-bound, I believe that technology has a key role to play in helping us to, pace up in terms of achieve it faster. For example, there was a time that communicate somebody maybe in US, I need to write letter, all right? And you know how long it takes a letter to get to the post office, to get to wherever it's going to. But right now with technology, with just a click, somebody can get a message all the way in Australia in a couple of seconds. So I believe that technology has a role to play in helping us to a kind of, achieve this sustainable development goals faster. Thank you.
All right. So for us not to thank you so much for everybody that volunteered to explain and all of that. So for us to not, let me see the comment section, innovation, and it's quite fast. Let me see, hold on. I just saw a point that interests me from the comment section. So Asabe Demi said, innovation and technology play a very critical role in attaining sustainable development by supporting data-driven decision-making, increase access to critical service, and encourage renewable energy, all of which help us move closer to the environmental, social, and economic objective. I totally agree with that. That's a very valid point there. In order to conduct research on, David Ajigi said, not to conduct research on cutting-edge environmental pollution, prevention techniques, develop sustainable development. I can't really see David Ajigi points. In order to conduct research on cutting-edge environmental pollution, prevention techniques, develop sustainable treatment methods, and look for alternative energy sources like biogas, solar, wind, and other resources, all of which are emphasized in SDG 7, we need advanced knowledge of technology, speaking from an environmental point of view. So yes, to summarize this aspect, this section that we are, like everybody had said, we need innovation and technology in every area of SDG. So SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 3, SDG 4, these 17 SDGs, using innovation and technology actually just makes it easier for us to achieve it. So for one, look at the efficiency. Innovation allows us to find smarter and more efficient ways of using resources. Technology helps us to optimize processes, reduce waste, and conserve energy. So don't even let us look at it from the aspect of climate change or environmental. Every area of the SDGs, innovation actually makes it more efficient to achieve access to resources. Technology can also help us improve the access to essential resources like clean water, like food, like healthcare, and these particular areas are not even limited to these three. global connectivity, like someone that said, we now have modern technology that connects with people easily. Before, imagine in 1998 if United Nations has come together. Imagine in 1998 if SDGs has come together to come up with these 17 SDGs. Look at how difficult it would have been to actually implement these goals. But now we have global connectivity, which makes it modern technology connects people and ideas across the globe, fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing. It's so easy now. Now you guys can actually come together. You can find people that share similar goals in this SDSN event, and then you can come up together and create a solution to achieve sustainable development by 2030. So these are the things that global connectivity can do. Data and monitoring, which I think what's his name? I think someone mentioned it today, and it's really make a lot of sense because technology allows us to connect and analyze data, which is crucial for tracking progress towards sustainability goals. According to the article that I saw sometimes last week, I think in Africa, Tanzania is like one of the countries that are doing really, really well in tracking the goals at the moment. And these are the things that technology had done, because before I'm sure that would have had challenge tracking the goal, but now we can actually track the goal. And even as an individual, we run a company that is solely focused on seeing behavioral results. Tracking goals is very important to us because now we have an SDG game. So we want to see how we think the SDG game is actually working, if it's actually achieving the goals that we are creating it to achieve. And these are the perks of technology in the recent time. Innovation in solutions. New technology can lead to innovative solutions for challenges such as pollution, deforestation, and climate change. For example, now there's advancements in material science that can lead to biodegradable materials that reduce waste. Economic growth. For a country like Nigeria, we need an immense economic growth. So innovation often drives economic growth by creating new industries such as job opportunity. For example, now I found a company gets ago, I need to hire people. I have people working for me. And even if it can be little or small, I'm also solving economic issues. I'm also solving job employment issues. So these are the things that innovation and ecology. So by the time you even look at SDGs, there's something I really like about SDGs. Why you are focusing at achieving SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, you are as well achieving SDG 2. You are as well achieving SDG 1. They are interconnected. Just because, okay, fine, I can say I'm creating a game to address all SDG, but at the same time, I'm already solving SDG 10 that has to do with economic inequality. That has to do with SDG 10 is inequality, right? So, but like, let's look at the economic aspect. So these are the way that SDG work, and these are the vital role that technology and innovation is really putting in place. Let's look at it for education and awareness. Technology aids in spreading awareness about sustainability issues. Just if, for example, if SDGs does not exist, if there's no Zoom, how would this live streaming would have taken place? How would this lot of audience joining this conversation have taken place? Because what we are doing right now is actually spreading the education and making people aware of how important it is for innovation and technology to achieve SDG. So all these things actually really have vital role. They are important for us to amplify our ability to find creative solutions to global problems, and also enable us to create a world for both and current future generations that can thrive in it. Can we please move to the next slide? So the role of innovation and technology in achieving sustainable developmental goals, the impacts on, like I said, I think I've really explained this in my further explanation before I move to the next slide. So innovation and technology plays a very critical role in achieving sustainable developmental goals by enabling us to address complex environmental, social, and economic challenges. I like to classify the whole impact or the whole areas of SDG into three, which is environmental, social, and economic challenges. And to be honest, if you look at the 17 SDGs, you'll be able to classify them into these three major areas. So to address complex environmental, social, and economic challenges in new and effective ways, here are some key ways that innovation and technology can contribute to sustainable development. Number one is environmental sustainability. Innovation and technology can help us reduce environmental impact and promote sustainable resources use. Yes, and promote sustainable resources. For example, technology such as renewable energy efficient buildings, and sustainable agriculture practices can help us reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect natural ecosystem. Let's look at the new technologies. Which one of it is the lot of solars that they are developing right now? That's like another key impact of technology. For a country like Nigeria, solar is not really thriving like as more as it is, because when we're talking about SDG, also we have to talk about class stratification. There's upper class, there's middle class, there's lower class. So are people able to even afford these new technologies? That's another conversation. But before we proceed, let's move to the next slide. Impact to social sustainability. Innovation and technology can promote social equity and inclusion by improving access to education, healthcare, and other basic services. For example, digital technologies can help bridge the digital divide and provide access to information and services to people in remote and undeserved areas. Can we move to the next slide, please? Wait, can you guys hear me all along? I just realized that my stuff was muted.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, so why was it muted?
So just for people not to interrupt.
Okay. So the number 3 is economic sustainability. Innovation and technology can promote economic growth and development by creating new industries, jobs, and markets. For example, new technologies in areas such as clean energy, transportation, and smart city can create new economic opportunities and contribute to sustainable economic growth. I think I've explained this earlier. It's just the examples of the examples I've given, me running a company at the same time, not particularly focusing on jobs or not focusing on SDG 10, but I am focusing on SDG 4, which is quality education. And at the same time, I'm actually really achieving other parts of SDGs. So when you look at how innovation and technology can help the 17 SDG, it's really just can accelerate our growth. It can accelerate our impact. It can accelerate how much or how fast do we actually want to achieve this goal. Please, can you move on to the next slide, please? Resilience. Innovation and technology can help us build resilience to natural and man-made disasters by providing early warning system, disaster preparedness tools, and post-disaster recovery solutions. Ultimately, innovation and technology can enable us to achieve sustainable developmental goals by creating new opportunities for progress, while also helping us to address the complex and interconnected challenges that threaten the well-being of people and planet. Imagine if there was no innovation or technology when we had the recent war that took place in less than 3 or 4 months ago. So these are the perks of innovation and technology. They can help us to build resilience to natural and man-made disaster. They can also provide quick solutions. What country did earthquake happen recently? Who knows that? There was an earthquake that happened very recent that was trending on international news. I was expecting to see Turkey, South Africa. No. I think it was Turkey, actually. Yeah, Turkey. So they were able to find lots of people. I can remember that I was reading a particular article that they said they had to put some at-speed technology stuff into the old place that the stuff happened. And that was how they were able to track that, there's some people underground. And these are the impacts of technology. These are the things that technology could do, saving a lot of lives, helping to actually resolve disaster, or even post-disaster recovery solutions. And these are really, really good impact of technology in the new age. So just imagine where there's like a lot of intentionality among everybody, because I feel like the problem with SDG is not that it is not achievable. Let's look like a country, let's look at a country like Nigeria, to be precise. Nigeria is really lagging behind in SDG. I was reading, so an SDG report came out in July. So the report was like, check your country's progress and how your countries are actually participating in the SDG at the moment. And you guys have to see Nigeria, the rate we have, or the number we are right now. We are really, really lagging behind. I think the problem is that in Nigeria, people really think that SDG is for government, or they think it's for NGOs, and they think it's for like particular people. Why in the literal form, SDG is for everyone. It takes everybody to actually take a lot of effort. It's like a lifestyle. It's like an action, like, oh, you're actually living a sustainable lifestyle intentionally. You know that, oh, it's as small as you brushing your teeth and not leaving the water open and not leaving the water running when you're brushing your teeth. It's as small as you going out and not throwing stuff on the floor. It's a lifestyle. It takes everybody action to actually make sure that we achieve this thing by 2030. But that's not the focus of this conversation. So I will just move to the next slide. Please, can you move to the next slide? Key innovations and technology trends. Yes, please move to the next slide. Okay, so before we, no. Oh, yeah, so I would not do breakout section because we can't do breakout section, but you can go to the breakout section. No, you can go to breakout section still. We're going to make it a question instead. So since it said, the idea I had in my head, we're going to group people into 5 or 4, and then you people will go and create a solution. But since Emmanuel said we can't do that due to people watching on the YouTube live, I would just ask it as a question that will take maybe 5 people. So the question is, what innovative ideas do you think can solve a problem related to the SDG below? One is no poverty, other one is clean water and sanitation, other one is reduced inequality. And I want this to be as smooth as possible, because I saw people complain at the comment section that they're not really enjoying it because it's not going on smooth. So I would like this to be smooth as possible. So just Emmanuel, you're going to coordinate this. Is the first few people that is going to like raise up their hand, or maybe we can like pick, yeah, four people. I'll call out their names, then you're going to unmute them. Then they would just mention the SDG that they're talking about. So we need 6 people, 2 people in each SDG, 2 people for no poverty, 2 people for clean water and sanitation, and 2 people for reduced inequality. So just pick the SDG that you're discussing about and just go to solution straight. Let me pick names now. Can we please have Jigawa, Michael, Alimo, Beatrice? Emmanuel, please. Emmanuel, please, can you unmute the person?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning. I'm Michael. I want to speak on GO6, clean water and sanitization. Well, in our society now, especially in Nigeria, if you walk around, you see how our water system is being polluted and how the environment is being polluted due to lack of good sanitation and pollution of, let me say, waste like nylon and plastics. Mostly these are the main things that pollutes the water system in our country. Sometimes because these two items, they don't decay easily, and these are something that can be renewable. Let me say that of the plastic can be recycled in a way that it will produce something different. So as the nylon too can be gathered and be recycled to make something like concrete, let me say like this, like interlock, all those interlock by the roadside and other things. Those are some things that can be recycled. But in Nigeria, we are having the difficulties of factories or companies that are involved into these things. And even though some are there, but they are few and they are not accessible for those that are in some developing states. Just like where I am, I noticed that there are so many pollution all over this place and there's no proper sanitation on that. I think that's what I have to say. When technology come into play, it will make things easy. All those nylon and plastic that pollutes the water, it will help the economy by that recycling and making use, that is recycling them to another stage of being. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Please, can we have another person? And I really want us to focus more on our own personal ideas that we have, not like more of like an existing idea, like just something that you think of your head that, oh, it can actually work to actually make this achievable. Do we get that? So yeah, let me pick another person. Can we have, let me see, please, hold on, please. Can we have Shokoto, Linda, Stephen Dong?
Okay, good morning, everyone. For me, I wanted to speak on reduced inequality. From my perspective, I feel like inequality, most of the issues that come about are cultural issues mostly. A little bit of social, yes, but most of them cultural and religious issues, mostly in communities where I have known so far, basically in Nigeria as a whole. One of those things I think we can do to reduce this inequalities in different dimensions, especially when it comes to inequality when it comes to sexes, like female access to education and all of that. It's one thing to have awareness and advocacy, but it's one thing also to really experience this social behavioral change. So the aspect I'm driving at is social behavioral change, where we can really have this attitudinal change towards these inequality issues when it comes to cultural and religious, what do they call it, ideas and ideologies that people already have, changing mindset. So one thing we can also do is try to raise, strong awareness and using key stakeholders in the community and in the environment to do that. That's what I think.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I love Blinda's take. Yeah, I agree as well. Thank you. But when we are talking about reducing inequality, it's not just those two aspects. Reducing inequality also focused on social, they also focus on race, they also focused on every aspect of inequality. I just want to make sure that's clear, right? Linda, that was a question. You can unmute yourself to answer the question. Hi, Linda, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think she's here anymore. So yes, can we move on to another person? Let me get a name. But does everyone understand or agree with me that when we are talking about inequality, it's not just those two aspects? Inequality is very broad and they cover all aspects of inequality. Is it social stratification? Is it gender? I'm looking for another person. Can we please call on Lagos Faith Idowu?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'll be talking on SDG 1, which is no poverty. Well, how can we reduce no poverty? Right now, we're seeing the way the situation in the country is. People are hardly finding it hard to eat, which also leads to zero hunger. But if we have an innovation whereby food waste is actually is reduced, especially in restaurants and everything, people will be able to, instead of I don't have what to eat, but I go to the restaurants with just a discount price and I get my food, which will actually reduce poverty level in so many low income communities. That's basically my idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all right. Thank you so much. Can we have David Ajiki from Enugu State?
Okay, please, before we have David, I would like to say your join this. We have 10 minutes more for this session, and I know you still have some.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think after David Ajiki, then we just have to stop there.
All right, thank you.
House. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, David.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. In my own perspective, I think the three goals that were written here, cannot be really separated. They are intertwined. That is no poverty, clean water and sanitation, and reduce inequalities. Now, speaking from number 6 point of view, clean water and sanitation, our practices as a people are what causes pollution. Just like the other speaker have talked about, like what is the name? Pollution of water body with plastics. For example, degradation of plastic in water causes microplastics, and causing that as a result has biological effect on the animals, which is what it depletes our biodiversity. Now, from the plastic, if you can encourage recycling of the plastic, it has to do with what circular economy, which is what it reduces poverty. Now, our practices is informed by what we know, what we understand about the environment, and this can be reduced through socio-cultural engagement. There are some things, our minds have been pictured in some way. There are some stratification that has been made in the community, around us by our cultural beliefs that, okay, this certain person cannot participate in this. This is a woman, she's not enough, she cannot do this. And there are some policies that has been passed by our government. I believe why Nigeria is lagging behind is because of our policies and our governments, because they have not actively engaged. But I believe now, since we are advocating, as an advocate, we can do more by providing solutions from our individual point of views, as an economist, as a public administration, someone that has idea in public administration. You can bring all those ideas. That's why we are advocates. So all of them, the three, these things here are intertwined. We can't really separate them from my own point of view. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Your points are valid, David. And like you said, actually, I mentioned earlier that it's not even just the 17 SDGs are actually intertwined. Because by the time you're looking at no poverty, and you're trying to achieve no poverty, you're also achieving something else. By the time you're trying to even achieve quality education, you're also achieving another aspect of SDG. So every SDG are actually intertwined, and I don't think there's a way you can achieve one that you will achieve more than the targeted goals. But I know that there are a lot of people that really want to talk or have ideas. I can see the comments, and you guys can just drop your ideas on the comment section. If I still have time after my section, I'm going to go through them, then we're going to talk about them. But now we just have to move to the next section. I have 10 minutes to go, and I still have a lot to cover. Can you go to the slide before this? So there are key innovation and technology trends that are shaping the sustainable development landscape. We are going to go through these ideas together. Can we move to the next slide, please? Digital transformation. Digital technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain are transforming the way we live, work, and interact with the world. These technologies can help us address a range of sustainable development challenges, from improving healthcare and education to promoting sustainable agriculture and energy systems. And I think that during the whole sharing of ideas, you people had even mentioned lots of digital technologies, and you people have mentioned lots of new ideas that could actually transform healthcare, education, and to point at what David was even particular about, also pollution. Can we move to the next slide, please? To circular economy, that particular word. The circular economy is an economic model that aims to minimize waste and promote resource efficiency for designing products, process, and system that use resources in closed loop system. Innovation and technology are driving the transition to a circular economy by enabling new business models, product design, and recycling technologies. There are a whole lot of them. We have recyclers, we have upcycling, I don't know if you know them, we have sustainable agriculture, and there are numerous of them trying to use this new model to actually minimize waste and make sure that we promote resource that are efficiency for designing products, process, and system. Can we move to the next slide, please? 3, clean energy. The shift to clean energy sources such as wind, solar, and geothermal is a key trend in sustainable development. Advances in energy storage and management and renewable energy technologies are making clean energy more accessible and affordable, leading to increased adoption around the world. I saw someone's section, and that was what got me distracted. From my experience in the education sector, there are excellent policies, but sometimes it's not domesticated. Okay. So can we move to the next slide, please? Health technology. Advances in health technology are also improving access to healthcare, promoting disease prevention. Can you guys remember when COVID-19 happened? Imagine the help of lots of new technology. I was even really open for you people like using COVID-19 as an example. Imagine lot of ideas, lot of solutions that came in place during COVID-19. One of it is Zoom. Zoom really came into picture when COVID-19 happened. And since then, it's been like a tool that has been so good and people have been utilizing. Imagine how quality education would have survived during COVID-19, because so a lot of schools, both international schools and even national schools adopted this new technology to actually use to teach and even still proceed with education like nothing happened. So these are real impact of new technologies. And now that we're focused, the subject matter now is health technology. Advances in health technology are improving access to healthcare, promoting disease prevention, and enhancing patient outcome. Examples include telemedicine, wearable health devices, and precision medicine. Come move to the next slide, please. Examples of innovative solutions home and abroad. I would like to talk about my company, that's Gesego Games. So Gesego Game is a Nigerian-based game company that uses gamification to demystify development education. I'm a core believer that there's no way we can get a solution, or there's no way we can tell people about SDGs, or there's no way people want to actually achieve this SDG or make a feasible impact if they don't even understand what SDGs are. And that's like my idea behind building Gesego. So I totally believe that before people can actually come together and say, oh, they want to contribute to achieving SDG, they have to understand this. So Gesego, in short, is we are trying to use innovative games to bridge the gap between people and development. And when we're talking about development, it's not just no poverty or education, is every area, is including law, is including mental health and all of that. But our first product is 17, and 17 is an SDG card game that teaches players about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, while also promoting critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. While we are yet to explore technological options, we plan to leverage technology to reach even more people with our innovative education solutions. And yes, you can get Gesego games. You can get 17 everywhere. Just Google search gesegogames.com and you'll be able to purchase on the website. And we deliver everywhere. Thank you. Can you move to the next slide, please? So other ideas are Vector, Sojo UK, Ecovative Design. Vector is using technology to deliver access to affordable, innovative, digital-driven, reliable, and sustainable energy to enable people to live without limits. Vector is very accessible, it's very portable, you can literally carry it anywhere, and it just gives you access to light in every area that you are across Nigeria. And I totally recommend it. Sojo UK is like one of my favorite brands. So what they do is they try to reduce negative social and environmental footprint of the fashion industry using innovation, climate conscious behavior, knowledge sharing, community engagement, and advocacy to make a difference. What they do in short is just, so for example, now you're tired of your clothes, instead of you throwing it into bin or just adding to the environmental issues, you can send it to Sojo UK and then change the entire design. You can add something to it. Your clothes have loopholes, you can amend them. They just really like renew the whole fashion industry and try to make it more sustainable and reusable. The key thing is they're making use of the 3 R's, which is recycle, reuse, and what's the third one? What's the third one? Reduce, thank you. And the Ecovative Design, the third one is Ecovative Design, is a New York-based company that produces eco-friendly packaging materials using mushroom-based technology. Their product, microfoam, is a sustainable alternative to polystyrene foam, which is commonly used in packaging but is not biodegradable. Microfoam is made from agricultural waste and mushroom roots and can be composted at the end of its life. I really love Ecovative Design because the bed that they use or their materials are from polystyrene and they're so reusable, and they're also made from agricultural waste and mushroom roots. Thank you for everybody commenting reduce, reuse, and recycle on the comment section. Can we move to the next slide, please? So what are the challenges that we are facing to actually implement this? Emmanuel, do I have the opportunity to check the comment section before we proceed? Do you want to get in the country now food?
Okay, that's fine, but we appreciate you wrap up the comment.
Yeah, I'm actually almost done. I'm not going to like touch every areas one by one. I'll just cut across them. So challenges, sustainability, access, adoption, regulation. When we're looking at the challenges, how accessible are these? Like I can say everybody complaining on the comment section that the country is going through zero poverty and all of that. So how accessible are these innovations? How accessible? For example, I mentioned Vector, solar energy. Vector costs about 200K for one. How accessible it is. Now, one or two people might actually be having problem of accessing light or electricity in their areas right now. How many people wants to put 200K right now on solar energy and just buy a Vector, purchase a Vector product? Or how many people want to, do you understand that kind of problem we have? So there are those challenges. There's adoption. How easy or accessible can we adopt these new ideas into some particular areas in Nigeria? So we can say that a place like maybe Abuja would thrive, a place like Lagos, but if you look at rural areas, how easy is it to adopt all these things? Regulation in Nigeria is so messed up. So even what's the word? Even legally using your operation. Now look at the fintech industries, they literally new rules coming every day. So we have to look at regulation as a challenges that people will actually come across. Sustainability, are these ideas actually sustainable at the end? Like, oh, you can come up with a very amazing idea of how to implement this in your area, or how this innovation can actually make SDG accessible, or how you can actually make a better place for your family and for people around you. But how sustainable are these ideas? These are the things that I want us to think about. Please, can you move to the next slide? Opportunities. So while we've looked at the challenges, we have to look at the good side also. There's collaboration, there's innovation up, there's funding, and there is education. You can like I said earlier, you people are here. I expect you to have actually I've actually to connect with a lot of people that you know that they share similar ideas with you. I expect everybody to have been able to like talk about what you do. Oh, my name is this. I'm so passionate about this. I'm open to this and this and this. These are the purpose of events like this. These are the purpose of stuff like this and all of that. So collaboration is very, very, very important in us actually achieving all these things. Just forget about thinking of innovation, forget about thinking of technology. When you think about it, who are the people that you want to work with? What are the organizations you want to work with? And these opportunities are so much available to you. You can use LinkedIn to send cold email. I was still talking to someone this morning and I was like, I have a particular organization in mind to actually sell my product to. Then I was like I was composing LinkedIn. The first time Emmanuel messaged me was on LinkedIn. So these are important of collaboration to achieve all these amazing ideas. Innovation of someone has mentioned it earlier, and that's so much amazing idea. We can use innovation up for much more advocacy work. We use it to drive our SDGs game in our company, and those are just amazing things you can do through innovation of funding. We need funding to actually utilize this idea. So it's a different thing that we have ideas. Do we have money to actually implement the idea? I think I was still talking about that on Monday with Emmanuel when we're like talking about an idea or money and this and all of that. It's a different thing to come up with an idea. It's a different thing like, oh, do we actually need fund? Do we actually have money to implement this idea? So these are what things we want to think about. Education. We need to keep educating people. We need to making people aware. We need to keep advancing these ideas. How best do we want to do it? It's through educating people, because there's no way people want to actually participate in SDGs when they are not educated about it. Can we move to the next slide, please? Policy and regulatory framework. I think this is the last part of it. So enabling environments. Government can create an enabling environment for innovation and technology by establishing policies and regulation that encourage investment and entrepreneurship in the field. This can include tax incentives, streamlined permitting processes, and research and development funding. Intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights are very important for protecting the innovations and technology developed in the field. So it's not just your coming up with an idea. Are your ideas protected? Government needs to establish regulations that protect intellectual property rights and incentive innovation and technology development. Another aspect is standards and certification. Standard and certification can help to ensure that innovations and technologies are safe, reliable, and effective. Government can establish regulations that require certain standards of certifications for products and services in this field and support the development of these standards and certifications. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, I think I've explained the intellectual property rights. The international cooperation is important for supporting innovation and technology for sustainable development. Government can work together to establish international standard and regulation, share best practice, and support the development and adoption of new technologies. I've explained the intellectual property rights, so we can move to the next slide. Yes, so I am done and I'll be taking questions. I think I was able to meet with the time frame. Family loan, it can. Oh, I didn't see that you're wearing a cultural outfit. Man, this looks good on you. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you at all. I don't know why.
All right, what about now? I believe you can hear me now.
I can hear you now.
All right, thank you very much for this wonderful session. Though we had to package it in a very rush. I knew the last time we took this session spent like 1 hour for 5 minutes plus breakout session. And apologies for the short time in which we gave it to run the session. And to each and everyone that are on this call, I want to say that this innovation and technology is not just for hearing sake. It's for you to get to know areas you can come up and solutions you can use innovations on. I mean, challenges, problems. But before we ask questions, please, I would just like to do some love to our facilitator. Maybe through you can use an emoji or use the comment section and to do that. It's been an amazing session indeed from Madaponi. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We so much appreciate you. For those who have a question, please, we just take one question and that will be the major one. So please, if you're asking a question, that should be in 30 seconds. That should be in 30 seconds. Kelechi from Lagos, please unmute your mic and ask a question. And you can also put your question on the comment section. That will be more faster. And we'll have the information session after.
Okay. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Okay, good morning.
Okay, I would like to appreciate those speakers. My question is a very quick one. You know,
okay,
we've been talking about.
20 seconds.
Okay, we've been talking about how to utilize technology in the fulfillment and achievement of SDGs goals. And I have a question now. Some of us in the process of achieving these goals might have to liaise with local communities and interiors where a lot of them do not have Android phones and what have you. Now, is there an alternative to technology in reaching out to these people? Because I think one of the places technology comes to play is in form of trying to curb physical involvement, you know, in education and enlightenment. But in the absence of people's having access to technology, which other alternative can you suggest for emerging advocates of SDGs? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. That's a very beautiful question. Looking from the perspective of the father, yeah, there are lots of ways. Oh, you said I have 30 seconds. So the answer is, could we have community workshops and training for people that we cannot actually reach through technology? We have to go to the areas. We can organize workshops and trainings on different areas such as health, agriculture, and education, on maybe particularly what they are actually going through in that area. And we can also use mobile libraries. We can set up mobile libraries in such rural areas, providing access to books, educational materials, and all of that. And there's also radio and programs. Radio is still very, very important tool that people still use up to date, and even old people still listen to radio. So we can utilize local radio to broadcast innovative programs, news, and educational content to reach wide area. There's also traditional media, there's community health workers, and there's innovative workshop. There are numerous things that we can do. There are also mobile clinic or even field visits. You people can come together before the end of this event and probably have a field visit to a particular area, educate them about SDGs, and etc. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Thank you for that wonderful response. As when we have a slide which is not showed, for people that want to connect with her, those are LinkedIn, Twitter, Andrew, and also our ID, and you can get to connect with her. And I want her to speak on this before she leaves.
The offer is not available again, actually.
Yes,
all right. Thank you so much. And if you want to purchase the card game, it's available. Just visit the website, or you can reach out to me, then I'll share you the website link. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We sincerely appreciate the time you spent with us this morning, and we are so grateful for the knowledge and the impact you've made. I'm sure I can check the YouTube participants. I'm not seeing any question that I just comment and said thank you for your kind words. It's a great platform to connect the program with. Thank you for the feedback, YouTube audience, and to those of us that are on Zoom. Thank you for staying through the call, and we sincerely appreciate our wonderful facilitator in person of and I would like to always have you around in each and every of these sessions. We hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you too. Bye.
All right, bye. So, dear advocate, I believe it's been a wonderful time. I mean, it's been a for the time which you spent this morning. And I would just like to appreciate each and everyone and congratulations once again. I'm seeing attendance on that link. Attendance has been shared. Please, it's time for us to have some means of engagement. And these are things you need to keep in mind. You have to have this in mind. When you are filling this form, when you are filling the registration form the application form for this program, there was a question that was asked in time of having your training sessions on weekly basis. And we are very concerned about time we spend here and the resources we spend. Yeah, everybody, we are using your data, you are using your time. And some are even sharing joining from workplace and just to learn for that. But please, let's do value the time you are spending here because it's worth more than money. And I always say this, when I wanted to learn about SDGs, I spent over ₦1 million learning about SDGs and what I am today and still part of what is making me today. But this platform, we are seeing it free of charge. Nobody is asking you to pay any dime or any sort of money for it. So please, let's make good use of this opportunity as it's going to be of great benefit indeed. And I also want to say that basically, for the attendance form has been shared. Please, our program managers, I will appreciate if you can share this over and over. And to those on YouTube, the attendance form has been shared and it's also pinned. Please kindly ensure you fill the attendance form before you leave the session. It's very, very important. And it's not meant to be shared on the WhatsApp platform. Please don't do that before you. I won't want a situation whereby the admin are going to remove you. And before we end today's session, I'm going to make this very brief because there is also there's a need for you to ask questions, areas which you have clarity about, and I'm quickly going to provide more information about that. Okay, let me just try and share the screen from my end there. This is going to be very, make it as brief as possible. Okay, I have the goals and objectives of this. So at this document, we all have this document. I can see some people writing that I can't. So please ensure you fill the attendance form. It's very active. The very first goal of this project, the objective of this project is to educate and get to improve our knowledge, build our knowledge, theoretical knowledge on the SDGs and getting us to be this global citizen that have a good role in the implementation process to achieving the SDGs. And secondly, the objective is to incorporate sustainable development into school structure, into school curriculum. And part of the structure of this program is the Own a School initiative, which I'm going to talk more about. And also we aim at developing and strengthening the existing youth network across the state. I can tell you for sure that this program has community across the 32 states plus FCT. And if you are not part of this network, you are missing because there are a lot of things that are going on in your state that you don't even know about. And from this community, you can get to build more connections with each other. The program is structured in 3 phases. You have the masterclass session first, which is going to, the entire program is packaged to be a 3-month program, which is going to span from the month of August to early November. So please, let's note that. I've seen situations whereby people get to join the program and they could not finish. They could not complete the program due to one reason or the other. If it's going to get to that point, it's due for you to send a proper email stating your conditions and stating maybe you are going to join the next cohort, or maybe there is a reason and if there's going to be a permission for you to join or not. Like I was saying earlier, this program is structured in 3 different phases. The first phase is the masterclass session, which we are having now. And the masterclass session is just 4 weeks. So you can do well to dedicate 4 Fridays to this masterclass session. And each of these sessions, in fact, when they asked you to fill the form, they requested for 4 hours in a week. And now we are not using up to 3 hours. We can assure you we are not going to use up to 3 hours. Even sometimes we won't use more than 2 hours, most especially when there is no extra information session. We also have finished this session exactly 10:10, 11:10 rather, but there is a need for us to have information. I'm trying to note some things which I'm also saying on the comment section. Then the second phase of the program is the Own a School initiative. And the structure of Own a School initiative is for you to identify a school, a secondary school. And this time around, we are going to extend it to primary school because within the very first report we conducted, we covered over 800 schools in Nigeria, global, nationwide. And we are also going to focus on primary schools this time around. And we are going to identify a school in your community, which is no more than 5 kilometers to your current locale. I mean, either where you are living or where you are working, where you know that you can easily walk to, not where you have to spend 5,000 naira to get there, or you have to spend money or one extra fee to get there. This is we are giving back to the society. This program, okay, I'm also seeing WhatsApp. All right, that's fine. I'll try and speak on that because I won't like us to take too much time on this. The Honest School project is meant to be executed in a period of 3 weeks. And before you go to the school, the organization will give you a letter of introduction, which you're going to give to the principal of the or proprietor of the school, and that will lead to the approval that you can come and conduct the training. And what you are going to the school to do is to introduce the SDGs, to the students. And when you are having that training, that is going to be physical. But all this training we are having now is virtual. I mean, all this masterclass session is going to be virtual. Then another aspect, I already mentioned that your Own School project is going to be for 3 weeks. And the third phase is the community advocacy project. The community advocacy project is an hybrid event whereby you get to have a physical community-based development project. This you have to do in groups. You have to do as a state. Maybe later next week, we are going to share the list of 36 states plus FCT, the list of all the states in Nigeria. You have to join the specific states you know you have throughout the period of in between, let's say between now and the month of November or October. So if you are still in Abuja, I know that you are traveling to Lagos in September, maybe you are resuming to school or you are doing anything in Lagos, and it's going to be in Lagos you are going to be in Lagos for September, October, November. It's better you join Lagos team and forget that you are from Abuja. So the community advocacy project is a community-based development project which you are going to do in your state. And also you are going to have a webinar. Each state is going to have a webinar. Please, these are all in the document that has been shared with you. And we are going to keep re-emphasizing on this. For Honest School is an individual project. You have to do it individually. However, you can seek maybe collaboration, not collaboration that you are doing together. I can get to support my colleague when she is doing her own project and she's coming back in return to support me when I'm doing my own in the school project. The resources I'm using, maybe the placards that I printed for myself to use to train on SDGs, I can get to share with another person. The state can get to share with each other. And these are things which we need to be very, very conversant about. And one thing about SDSN is, please, we are always concerned about timelines. So that it won't get to a situation whereby you say that you need maybe extra days to submit your proposal, to submit this and that. please, there won't be an avenue for that. So if you are to submit a proposal, okay, let me just quickly speak through this. We already have the call for application, and currently we just commenced the training, and the training is going to end on the 2nd of September. That's a Saturday. The training is going to end on the 2nd of September. So, and for those of us that are having WhatsApp issues, the program manager is on the call. She has already dropped a number. If you are having issues with your WhatsApp, you couldn't join. Then also, the next email they are going to send, they are going to share a technical form, which you can get to drop your WhatsApp number if you couldn't join the WhatsApp or you're having any other technical related issues as regards the program. So, there is always an assessment. There is always an assessment during the masterclass session. You need to also participate in, and you must not miss. Please, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. You must not miss the assessment for anything. So there are 3 things which the organization prioritizes as part of your grading. The first one is your attendance in the masterclass. Your attendance is always, I think the attendance is 20 months, and your assessment is 30 months. Then project, webinars, and only 2 is 50 months. So if you don't participate across these 3 aspects, you might not be certified. We have some people that are coming back to this course from course 3 to come and complete their own school project, because maybe there are some people that did own a project that did not participate in their state community project. They are coming back to course 4 to come and complete that. I would like such to be your own case. We want a situation whereby you complete the training in due time, and within the time frame you complete the training. And I already mentioned by 4th of September you are going to receive the introduction letter, but from between 18th and 31st of August, you are meant to select the name of the school which you want to conduct your own school project. So when you are selecting name of school, there are 2 things. There are 2 rules that are involved. First is the first person that submits the name of the school that has been approved the school. So take, for example, we have, I can see Abba Matthew, and I can also see Abubakar Sophia. So 2 of them submitted, Abba Matthew submitted 9 a.m. today, and Sophia submitted 10 a.m. today. That school is going to be disapproved for Sophia. It's going to be approved for Abba Matthew, and Sophia will have to check for another school. But you don't need to visit your school at all. You don't need to stress yourself going to the school, because now the schools are even on break. So just sample schools that are within your reach, And you've seen situations whereby schools send you back to ministry, schools send you back, or maybe they reject your offer. Your presentation matters most. You are not going there to change their curriculum. You're only going there to introduce the SDGs to the students as a social impact and as a contribution to achieving the sustainable development goals. You are not coming to their classroom to take their lesson hours, whereby they have to tell you to go to the ministry to take approval from the Ministry of Education. Like I said, there's a letter of introduction that will be given to you, which that is very important to go with. Then I'll quickly speak about phase 2, it's already 11:30. I'll quickly speak about phase 2 and 3. By 9th of September, you need to start booking your webinar, and you are going to have your webinar, just like I mentioned. It's just a single webinar session, each state has to hold. And once you've been added to your state group, once you've joined your state group, each state is meant to appoint a state lead, a state representative. And you can do this by voting process, you can do this by nomination process, in as much that person is endorsed and approved by everyone. But please, it's very important. It's a participatory process. The way we have SDGs, there is a global participatory process. Let's ensure that the appointment, whoever that is standing in as a state rep, you all duly approve that person to stand in as a state rep. And like I already mentioned, you are going to be having your community-based project that's later in the month of October to November. So you can start planning from now. You can start planning on what you want to do. But please, you are not asking, the organization is not to kind of do a chapter. It might be an advocacy project, it might be a sensitization project around any of the SDGs within your local community that you are very close with. And for each state, you can have as many as possible groups, like sub-teams, based on local government, depending on your population, depending on how far you are from each other. So, and this we've done over and over, and we've had the feedback, we've had the transformative impact in people's lives, and the kind of impact that they've never experienced. And it's also a platform for you to get connected with stakeholders. Tomorrow, we are going to be inaugurating some set of state coordinators in 17 states in Nigeria, also in commemoration of the and tomorrow, any one of you can be a state coordinator in your state. You can be the main coordinator in your state, and whereby you are interacting with the ministries, you are interacting with even the governors of your state. You have access to them, and these are things you get to benefit. And you also get to have access to a lot of opportunities, which is going to be shared during this program. The community manager are also on your group. They are going to be sharing opportunities both within SDSN and outside SDSN, which you can apply to. And like I always say, there are a lot of grants out there. There are a lot of money out there that funders are looking for, to innovators, change makers that are going to win this grant. It's high time you become that person, and it's high time you that you are already innovating. It's high time.
About that, I think Mr. Emmanuel is having some network issues. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Just keep calm.
Okay, I believe it on my other device and conclude.
All right, while we wait for him, I'd like to remind everyone to go through the program guide again. I believe this will assist a great deal so that we can understand why we are all here, and it will really help us to carry on with the program. So I believe it is important that we go through it over and over again. It's possible you have done that, you will not be able to grasp the entire guide at once. You will need to go through it over and over again so that we would have a seamless program. Thank you, everyone.
Please, are we done for the program so that people can exit? Are we done?
We are not done. Just that it looked like Mr. Emmanuel is having issue with his network. So maybe we'll just wait a little bit. Maybe he will return.
So kindly exercise patience rather. I believe Mr. Emmanuel will join us shortly.
Please, I wish to know if the class is over. If so I can go out to do other things.
Oh, we can't have you.
Please, the attendance list to. My own is not working here. I can't log in.
Well, I think Chineye wants to go. She's the co-host of this call.
Are we
online, she should.
Apologies, everyone. That was in very network issues from my end, but I had to switch to another network so that we can just complete the session. We are done for today, and I believe if there are all other information that are going to be shared, please, you can drop it on the WhatsApp community. This will be attended to by the community managers. But please, before you sign out, ensure you fill the attendance form. It's very, very important. And the slide presentation are going to be made available to you today. They are also going to share the link with you. There is always a back end for you to download each and every slides. And please, let's note that our sessions is between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. every Friday. And we are going to have that in the next 3 Fridays, then we are done. There is no other virtual training. Please take your time and commit your time into this, as it's going to be a life transforming one to you indeed. Once again, we say thank you. We hope to see you next week and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
See you next week.
God bless you.
Have a nice weekend.